The TechBot Prime and Hype Boost Monkey are the newest pro powers to BTD6, and we're going to see how good they are. We'll start with the TechBot Prime. Unupgraded, it's exactly like the TechBot. You link it to a tower, and it'll automatically use the ability every time it's available. This is amazing for things like a supply drop sniper or an ultra boost on a farm, as the faster you use them, the more money you'll make. It also has an ambush ability that lets you target the track. This will make it only use the linked ability when a balloon reaches that area. This is more useful for upgrades that deal damage, as you don't really want them going off unless the balloons are getting far. But upgrading the TechBot Prime is where things get a bit crazy. The Top Path's Tier 1 upgrade, Initiate Link AMP, costs $550 and makes ability projectiles deal 50% more damage. So this is good on things like a Tsar Bomba that drops one massive bomb that does a ton of damage, and things like a Super Maelstrom that launches hundreds of blades that all do less damage per projectile. The Tier 2 upgrade comes in at $1,100 and is called Chain Link. This one is amazing. If it triggers an ability, it will also trigger the same ability for other unlinked towers. So if you have 20 overclocks and you use this on one of them, all 20 overclocks will be used. This was incredible in boss fights, as I was using one overclock per BRF. I almost never do this unless I'm trying super hard, because it's a lot of work but super efficient. However, if I can just automatically overclock them all, I'm going to do it. This was also fun to use on a bunch of Maelstroms on Monkey Meadow, as I could just pop them all with each use, and I set up an ambush spot to only go off if the balloons made it to the loop. And the Tier 3 upgrade is called Lead the Storm, coming in at $4,050. Much more expensive, but it makes any linked monkey deal double damage with all of its attacks whenever their ability is triggered, not just the ability projectiles. So imagine this on a MAD. That thing is going to shred blimps apart. Onto the middle path. The Tier 1 upgrade is called Automate and only costs $250. This lets you link up to 3 monkeys, so it already saves you 50 monkey money when compared to getting 3 tech bots. The second tier is called Neuromap, costs $13.50, and triggers every ability in its radius on top of the 3 it's linked to, so you can have this activating a ton of abilities at once. It doesn't have that much range, but you can hit plenty of monkeys with it. And the Tier 3 upgrade Commander Chip costs $2,050, gives it way more range, and gives you the option to turn off the automatic triggering of abilities. It sounds counterproductive, but it gets an ability to act all of them manually with a push of a button, so you have full control. And for the bottom path, we start with the Drone Ambush Network. Coming in at only $200, it lets you set up 3 ambush sections instead of just 1. The Tier 2 Trigger Happy Drones comes in at $16.50, makes linked abilities cooldown 25% faster, and you can place up to 6 mini ambush drones, letting you cover most of the map. And the Tier 3 is called Oh Boy, I Can't Wait, and costs a whopping $12,500. This is a hefty price tag, but holy cow, is it worth it. It gets a new ability called Pop Off, where every ability in its radius skips cooldowns when you use it. No matter where they are in the cooldown process, you use Pop Off and all the abilities are used. And on top of this, it also causes the ability it's linked to just skip a section of its cooldown from time to time. So the top path lets linked towers deal way more damage, and you can use tons of the same ability with one tech bot. The middle path lets you use every ability in its radius and link 3 additional monkeys. And the bottom path lets you set up a bunch of ambush drones and skip cooldowns. Overall, an amazing pro power. Next, we have the Hype Boost Monkey. Without upgrades, it gets an ability that doubles the attack speed of every monkey in its radius for 15 seconds, but it has a 90-second cooldown. Going down the top path, we have Cheer at $560, which makes its hype ability also grant increased range when active. This isn't that strong, but it is a good amount of range. Gwen looked like she had the range of Quincy when this was on. The Tier 2 upgrade, Look Sharp, costs $11.50, and makes the ability also grant camo detection and improved accuracy. I was pretty excited about the camo detection part, but the long cooldown makes this an unreliable option. Though, combining this with something like Gwen's Cocktail could get you through the early game without the need of other camo poppers. And the third tier is called Monkey Spirit. Coming in at $3,000, the hype ability now allows monkeys to pop every type of balloon and lets them see through walls, which can be super useful on maps like Another Brick or Dark Dungeons, or even blast a populace's rocks, as they can really get in the way. Overall, I'd say the top path isn't that good, except for the Tier 3 upgrade if there are walls on your map. As for the middle path, the tier 1 upgrade resistance is $360. It reduces the hype ability cooldown to 60 seconds, and it says it increases the attack speed buff, but I think it's bugged. Mine went from doubling the attack speed to only giving it a 40% boost, so my guess is that it's supposed to be plus 140%. The tier 2 upgrade, High Reps, comes in at $950 and increases the hype duration to 20 seconds instead of 15. And the tier 3 upgrade, No Quit, costs $2,600. This increases the duration up to 30 seconds and makes the ability prevent monkeys from being stunned, stopped, or interrupted by any mechanic. And if they are disabled in any way, activating this will undisable them. My first thought was to use this against Blastopopulus to stop him from getting stunned by the heat bar, but it turned out to not be that good because his heat bar would just fill up and cause the ability to be on cooldown for the rest of the fight. So that didn't work as well as I thought it would. A better idea would be to use it against Vortex right before the stun goes off. That would prevent your tower from being stunned and also increase its attack speed. And this tier 3 ability now has a 50% uptime, which is surprisingly good. And for the bottom path, we have its tier 1 called Condition. This costs $750 and lets you store up to 3 hype ability charges. They still have a super long cooldown, so it takes forever to fill these up. But if you get it early, you can have a nice stockpile for the harder rounds. The tier 2 is called Intensity and comes in at $1,100. This passively increases the attack speed for every monkey in its radius by 33%. About double that of Jungle Drums. And this stacks with its active ability, so it double dips. This was a bit hard to test, so the numbers might be a bit off though. But its tier 3 upgrade, Max Output, is amazing. This makes the hype ability give plus 1 damage to affected monkeys, and the passive attack speed bonus goes up to plus 50% attack speed. The passive alone is worth the money, then you add on the extra damage and attack speed from the ability, and it pushes it over the top. Overall, these new pro powers seem incredible. The TechBot Prime's top path will let you farm like crazy or do tons of damage with abilities like the Mad. Its middle path will let you automate all of your abilities, and the bottom just skips cooldowns, which is absurd. The Hype Boost Monkey is a little less well-rounded though. Its active ability is amazing when up, but it has a super long cooldown. The top path will definitely struggle unless you need to see through walls or the normal damage type. The middle path will be useful against some bosses where stuns are involved, you just have to be prepared. And the bottom path is actually OP. Easily worth the money with just the passive, and then you also get its active ability. This all makes sense. Both of these are incredibly overpowered, similar to the Banana Farmer Pro. But pro powers aren't allowed in ranked games or chimps, which is what the game is balanced around. So if you want to be overpowered using them in other game modes, this seems fine. And if you don't want this super broken mechanic, you don't have to pick it up, similar to double cash mode.